Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to the second annual Ringling College AI Symposium, AI and Creative Innovation, Advocating for Artists and Designers. My name is Tiffany Holmes. I'm the Vice President for Academic Affairs, and welcome to everyone. We have a wonderful mix of guests here today, visitors from outside the college, as well as our own Ringling College faculty, staff, and students. Thanks so much for joining us. Over the next 2 days, you'll hear from expert speakers on how AI can foster creative innovation while safeguarding artistic integrity. We've organized lectures, discussions, workshops, and networking opportunities designed to help us all navigate this moment together. I want to set the stage for how our creative community must advocate for ourselves in this complex time. And that begins with a look back. As a species, we are inventors and builders, adventurers and creatures of habit. Since the industrial age, we've faced adaptation challenges with each new technology: the camera, the car, the computer, the cell phones, and the web. Each brought bias and resistance. Each required us to adapt. Remember the 1982 National Geographic pyramid cover? I do. The publishers digitally altered a landscape photo to fit a vertical format, making the pyramids of Giza appear much closer together than they actually are. Photographer Gordon Gahan protested. The public outcry over misrepresentation and lack of transparency eventually led National Geographic to admit they were wrong and establish new policies for photographic honesty, but that didn't happen until 2016. As artists and innovators, we're still grappling with these issues of integrity and truth in visual media. But I want to go back further to an algorithmic inventor and one of my great role models. Ada Lovelace, working with Charles Babbage in the 1840s on his theoretical analytical engine, is credited with writing the first computer algorithm. Her story is remarkable, not just for what she achieved in 30 years, she died very early, but for how long her contributions were dismissed due to gender bias. Her work was overlooked for nearly a century, and even today, scholars must push back against persistent misconceptions about her abilities. Lovelace's most profound insight was seeing potential beyond calculation. While Babbage focused on numbers and sums, she realized the machine could manipulate any data expressed as symbolic imagery, including music and also pictures. She anticipated modern computing by more than 100 years. Ada's mathematical skills were undermined for decades due to deliberate misstating of her correspondence, a falsehood that persists despite being corrected in the academic record. This echoes the ongoing struggle for recognition faced by many women even today in STEM. Her significance wasn't truly appreciated until the 20th century. Her legacy is now celebrated on Ada Lovelace Day, typically the second Tuesday in October. I think we're close enough to consider our symposium a mini celebration of her contributions, but I celebrate this visionary every day because I name my daughter after her. We're here today to learn how we can use the new AI tools responsibly. But how do we stand up for each other given the inherent biases in these tools? A new study from UC Berkeley, published this week in the journal Nature, analyzed 1.4 million online images and videos, plus 9 large language models. The finding? Women are systemically presented as younger than men across 3,495 occupational and social categories on platforms like Google, Wikipedia, IMDb, and YouTube. Here's what matters. The distortion is strongest for high-status, high-earning occupations, and like computer scientists. And when people Google images of these occupations, it amplifies perhaps their own biased beliefs and hiring preferences. When ChatGPT analyzed 40,000 resumes, it assumed women were younger by 1.6 years and had less work experience, while rating older male applicants as more qualified, despite no actual age differences in the workforce. As one researcher put it, even though the internet is wrong, when it tells us this fact about the world, we start believing it to be true. This distorted feedback loop moves from the internet into the real world, widening the gap between men and women in the job market. I am so proud to work at an art and design college where 75.4% of our students currently identify as female. We're training creative citizens here, and we must acknowledge bias in all its forms. So here are the questions we need to grapple with. How do we use AI with honesty and integrity? What should we teach our students when entry-level jobs are allegedly evaporating and more artists and designers are forced into contract work? AI is incredibly powerful and will alter all sectors of work. We know this. But never in our history has something so disruptive come about so fast, with such permeability in all areas of our lives. It truly is affecting everything, including the creative industries and the lives of artists and designers. I believe artists and designers have an advantage. Creativity is irreplaceable. I hope you think this too. But AI is here to stay. We must deal with it. We will see all of today's controversies play out in the courts of tomorrow. That's why at Ringling College, we're committed to providing our students, faculty, and staff with the skills, knowledge, and ethical foundation to navigate this landscape. It all started my first summer at Ringling, summer of 23, with an AI task force led by our Symposium savant, Rick Dakin, who is now our official AI coordinator. That task force has evolved into our Emerging Technologies Committee, a permanent body dedicated to researching tools and strategies for implementation across our curricula. Their first deliverable was a library guide. This isn't a temporary response, it's an ongoing commitment to staying at the forefront of technological change. This work led to our new AI undergraduate certificate program, launched last year and available to any Ringling student regardless of major. And we're not stopping there. Next fall, we'll launch our newest major, Creative Technologies. This interdisciplinary program is anchored by a curriculum that directs students to build, make, and ship digital products, with an emphasis on creative coding, aided by AI tools. This major prepares our students not just to use technology, but to create it, putting artistic vision and technical skill in the same hands. We firmly believe that human creativity and artistic vision are irreplaceable. Our mission is to advocate for and empower our creatives while ensuring they have the tools and understanding to thrive in this new era. We are all in this together. Thank you for joining us today and tomorrow. Thank you for our incredible guest speakers who are going to open our minds and hearts to new ideas. We can't wait to hear from you. And it is now my great pleasure to turn things over to our symposium organizer and very dapper dressed AI coordinator and creative writing faculty member, Rick Dakin. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for those kind words. Thank you all for coming. We need speakers to come in the future. We need to keep some distance from here to avoid pops. All right. So, where's mine? There we go. That's me, Rick Dakin. I love this picture. This picture of me was created by a faculty member here, Gary Barker, and he's kindly said I can use it whenever I want, and so I do. And I love that Gary, who has been one of the artists on Garfield for about 40 years, was able to capture sort of the essence of me so quickly, just sort of dashed that off, and I love it. I love artists. I love working here. I love talented people doing talented, creative things. And so AI presents some challenges to that, and that's what we're going to deal with today. We're not going to solve anything here over the next 2 days, but I hope we're going to be able to point each other in fruitful directions. And because AI is a powerful disruptive force. It's disrupting everything, maybe. Everything I can think of in some way or another, but especially the art and design world. And that's a threat, right? A time of disruption, you talk to business people, times of disruption, those are times for opportunity. Those are times for new players to come onto the field and take advantage and new businesses to start, and that's all true. That doesn't mean nobody gets hurt in that process, that people don't lose in that process. So disruption is opportunity, but it's also a threat. And I've talked to alumni, I've talked to recent graduates, I've talked to students, I've talked to faculty, I've talked to people in industry. And all of us feel some level of threat, some very direct levels of threat from AI. And that's something we need to face and reckon with and think about directly. On the other hand, AI affords new opportunities. That's what's exciting about it. That's why it has become so ingrained already in fields like coding and in design fields and in research and in copywriting and all kinds of other places, right? It's letting people do things they could not do before. And that's exciting, right? I will tell you, I teach the Fundamentals of AI course, which is the required course in our AI certificate. I've been teaching AI, a course every semester here in AI since 2023, which is about as long as you could be teaching a generative AI course. And I find this truth to be universally true. People hate AI doing the things they love, and they love using AI to do the things they hate. And one of the great things about that Fundamentals of AI course is that I get students from every program here, right? And we spend a lot of time in that class, yes, using the AI tools, but we spend much more time thinking about them and thinking about how they relate to our personal practice, our personal ethical approaches, right? And so it's interesting to see, right, that people can find a place for AI to do things they don't like to do and resent with good cause where AI impacts the things they love to do. Because ultimately AI is absorbing things whether we like it or not. Now, the biggest one, the one that has the biggest emotional and intellectual impact within a quarter mile of where we sit right now, is that it has absorbed the artistic output of millions of artists and photographers and writers and designers and just people without permission. And that's one of the many things that's being legislated in the courts, and we'll see how that all plays out. But no matter what the courts decide, and we've seen indicators one way or the other about whether or not these things are fair use, that doesn't change how it feels, right? It doesn't change how it feels for artists who feel like their work has been taken. It doesn't change how it feels to people who feels like their jobs have been disrupted and changed. There is a path forward. I don't know what it is, but I hopefully together here this weekend, we can maybe start mapping that out. I think about this as a dilemma for the creative career, right? That the traditional roles, everything that we've thought of recently as what it means to be someone whose livelihood is around creativity, is being challenged. There's a great book I read called Unbundled that talks about how we're rebundling what it is, what jobs are. AI is shifting. What are the skills that make up a professional, any kind of job or task or profession? And so what that means is we're left sort of re-asking the question, what makes human creativity valuable in this age where AI can produce high quality, that can mean whatever you want it to mean, content, but like undeniably. I mean, we've all, I'm sure in this room, seen Sora 2 in the past week, right? That video image has gotten, many of us who watched this closely for a long time took pride in the ability to look at an AI output and say, oh, that's AI. Yeah, it's got the fingers right, but like, did you see this little thing? Well, we can't rely on just that anymore. And so, where will human creativity continue to thrive? That's a question that I'm asking every day, and my students are asking, and my colleagues. I think there are at least 3 factors that are going to affect how this all plays out. And these are things that I think we'll see addressed in different ways over the course of the next 2 days. For me, it is, 1 is about human expressive value. And that is the degree to which whoever the audience for this creative work is values that human connection to the person or people who made it. And so what can we do to build, reinforce, develop that sense of value of human creative expression? Related to that is the technological production complexity of whatever it is we're creating, right? I think people, this is maybe the worst thing I'm going to say. I think what I call the anonymous creative cogs in the giant creative machines that produce AAA video games and $100 million movies, right? The audience doesn't have a connection to the thousands of talented people who work on that, right? And those are positions that are threatened. So when there is more technological complexity and more of those cogs can turn into robots, there's real threat there. And so for me, it's going to come down to finding that balance between valuing human expression and using these tools to add technological complexity to our personal outputs to create something distinctive. And I think in a world o'errun with AI slop, there will be a hunger for human distinctive works, like a thing that you could say, only that person, only those people, only that team could have made that. And I want to see more of that. How do we get there from here? Y'all are going to tell us, right? Yeah, I don't have answers to these. These are my questions. But we have a lot of great speakers here over the next 2 days that are going to help us answer those questions. And so for those of you who didn't notice, on the back of your badge is the schedule. And you can, I'm not going to do it right now with this clicker in my hand, you take that out, flip it around, and there's tomorrow's schedule. So you've got it all right there. And so we're going to kick off here right quick, right on top. We got plenty of work. You want some extra time? Sure. You got a minute? I got a few more slides, but then we'll jump right in with Dr. Moya McTeer, and I'll introduce her in a moment, and then we'll move through this wonderful program we have today. And tomorrow, we're back here in this room, and it's going to be action-packed. These are shorter, smart, to the point. It's a wide, wild, interesting variety of talks we're going to have tomorrow. Artists and academics and thinkers and entrepreneurs. I'm really looking forward to all of those, and I think you're really going to enjoy them. We also have tonight, thanks to our presenting sponsors, Dream Large, the AI Unwind event, which is free to all of you. If you RSVP'd, great. If you didn't RSVP, just come anyway. There's information about that there. You should have gotten information about it in an email from me, assuming it didn't get swallowed by your spam filter. That event is about, 6-7 minutes away by car from here. It's at a beautiful, interesting place, historic Payne Chapel, which is now the headquarters for Dream Large and Sarasota Magazine. So we hope all of you come there. Free beer, wine, pizza, snacks. So it should be a good time. We thank At Large for their support. And in the shameless plug promotion part of the program, we are also launching an online professional certificate course. And if you are one of the lovely, lovely individuals who bought a ticket to be here, of which there's many of you in the room, there is also tucked into your badge a discount code for that. So check that out. You can dig that out of here. That will launch the 20th. And I'm excited. I developed that course. We have one of the facilitators who will be teaching it here somewhere. Where are you, Kelly? Dan. Kelly and Dan are both here. All right, there you go. We'll be your instructors for that. They put together that amazing library guide that Tiffany was showing otherwise and helped keep us all up to date on that. So that is my welcome and introduction, and I thank you all for coming. And we're going to get right into it if Dr. Moya is up for it. All right.